Okay.
All right, let's head out to the studio in the sky. Ken Lee. He's known as, is it Ken's
Hey.
Route 66 Adventures or Adventures of Route 66 with Ken? I forget, but how you doing today, sir?
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Yourself?
I'm doing all right. Now, what's the name of your YouTube page again? Is it Ken's Route 66 Adventures or?
It is. Yeah, Ken's Route 66 Adventures.
And how long have you been doing this? And have you driven the whole route or route? I should ask, do you say route or route, I guess, but anyway.
However I pronounce it, I guess it just depends.
That's how I am
I
too.
seem
Depends
to
on the
catch
moment,
myself at
depends on
different
the day,
times. Yeah.
depends on the feeling. But how long you been doing the YouTube channel and
The YouTube channel, yeah, it just got started in January, actually, late January. I had had a bunch of videos on a personal YouTube channel, and let's combine it into one. So I started Ken's Route 66 Adventures, but wanted to have a look because yes, I have done the entire route. I did back in 2023. I originally,
oh, you're breaking in and out here, Ken. So we'll ask you. We're gonna just hang on for 1 second here. Ken Lee, Ken's
okay.
Route 66 here as I'm hearing him come in and out. There he's back. All right, now I can see him moving
Uh-oh.
around there on the video. That's okay. We somewhat got pixelated there for a second.
Okay.
You dropped off. So right around
All right.
January is when you mentioned the YouTube page got kind of official going. And then I did kind of hear
Yeah.
that you have driven the route before, you said?
Yeah, I did it in 2023. I live in Oklahoma City area in Edmond, Oklahoma. Any, well, other than here in town, right? I'd never done any of 66, so I decided, well, let's take, maybe 2 days, I'll go all the way over to Santa Monica, and then maybe one of these days from Chicago back. And after doing that, I was hooked, and so later that summer.
Oh, we see Ken dropped out again here, so I do apologize. We're going to get Ken back here in just a moment or two. And like a lot of people, he gets on the route and pretty soon he feels the spirit of the road and he gets hooked. Are you back there, Ken? Sorry, you dropped out again.
Yeah, I'm back. Yep, I'm
So
back.
you ended up doing it from Chicago or Santa Monica to Chicago, was it?
No, I did it from Oklahoma City to Santa
Okay.
Monica, and then that was in July of 2023. And then in September of 23, I drove from here in Oklahoma City up to Chicago and then brought it
Okay.
back home.
Okay. And
So it completed the whole thing. Yeah. And then we'll
how much of
do,
a break did you have in between?
oh, that was, see, from first week of August to the first week of September. So about a month.
Oh, not
Yeah.
much. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's and how long did you do each trip, I guess?
Seven nights
Okay,
on
so
each
it
side.
basically took a
Yeah.
week off of work each time, basically, huh? More or less.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty much. And so we'll do a friend of mine, Bob and I are going to do the end of July. We'll leave Chicago and take it straight through. We're going to do 2 weeks again to
Yeah,
do it.
and near the end there, we're gonna be you're gonna be right on my tail, it sounds like. I was even thinking about I might stay an extra
Yeah,
day in the Santa Monica area and welcome you guys in if I'm around there because I've got some
that would be
flex days.
fantastic.
Yeah, I've got a few
Yeah,
flex days, because um well, I mean, if I'm stopping in every county type of a thing, but I know I'm not going to
yeah,
do 55, 56. It depends on which Google or AI I ask. I haven't gotten a firm answer yet. Or these associate, I haven't gotten a firm answer from anyone. How many counties are in along Route 66, right? I've got three
Yeah,
different
wow, no.
numbers. So I just call it 55 plus. And so
Yeah.
I scheduled, 75 days to do the
Oh,
trip.
wow.
And yeah, so that way I could, every 6, 7 days take a break and trying to do it on a Sunday break type of a thing, but also so I could keep days open to shuffle it around in case of events that,
Yeah.
if I want to hang out for an extra day or whatever, I can do that. And so, yeah, I'm excited. And you're doing it the whole route this time, you said, right? In July?
Yeah. Yeah. From Chicago to Santa Monica, we leave. I think it's that last Sunday in July. What is that? The 26th or something like that is when we'll leave. Then we'll get to Santa Monica the morning of, I believe it's August 7th.
And how many days is that? Is that 10 days, 14?
That's I want to say it's 10 or 11 nights.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, yeah, something like
And
that. So yeah,
since you've driven the route before, you're familiar with the GPS timelines aren't necessarily like reality, so you've got that under your belt. And I've read
yeah,
so many stories on YouTube videos and blogs about how, the GPS said it was 6 hours and it took them 14 because, they got to take off roads that they're not used to. And, Route 66 isn't a real road, it's actually a national park.
yeah.
And a
My
lot of that was one of that's still my biggest surprise of this whole thing for me was learning that Route 66 is basically a national park that is a road. And
yeah.
do you have like any aspects of the route that really stand out as you have this kind of a unique attraction to it, a lot like me and others?
It's so. I don't know. People have asked me, "What's your favorite stretch? What's your favorite stretch?" Well, it's easy to say, like Arizona going through Seligman, or of course, Oatman. Oatman with the burros is always fantastic, right? Um, but I tell you, Missouri has really. I've spent a lot of time up there. Just a couple weeks ago, I spent about almost a week traveling it between going up to St. Louis and then on the way back down. And Missouri has really impressed me with it's a completely different feel because it's so green, especially this time of year, so green with all the rain compared to like Arizona, New Mexico, where you've got the great desert, right?
Hmm.
But
Well, even
I don't
Oklahoma
know.
is more brown than green.
Yeah, we're starting to get greener and greener right now. We've had a lot of rain lately. Like
But
this
you're a lot
morning,
like
we had some
Colorado.
storms.
Your
But yeah,
green season is so short.
yeah,
You know what I mean? It's not
yes.
it's not that things are like decaying. It's just they just are like just dry all the time.
We will probably about 5 weeks. We'll have that constant sun that'll just dry everything out, and you'll
Exactly.
get
And
yeah.
I
It'll
had a
get back
friend
to
of mine
brown.
move back to Minnesota from Colorado, and I asked him that once, why'd you move back? Because he seemed like he liked Colorado, and he said he missed the green. And I
Yeah,
never put that
yeah,
together until now when I travel. I notice those types of things. I'm really looking forward to Missouri because I Illinois to me is a lot like where I live, very flat. You've got some rivers and lakes, and we've got giant turkeys and pelicans, and instead of the giant Gemini men, we've got giant birds
yeah.
all over our
Oh
highways.
wow.
And so I love the industrial art, and but Illinois, been there, done that. Um,
Yeah,
Missouri, you start getting into some pretty cool landscaping. Whether it be, I don't know if the chain of rocks is in there, or that might be the edge of Illinois, but you
it's right
start
on the
getting,
border, Illinois,
yeah,
and
yeah,
yeah,
you
yeah,
start
yeah,
getting
and
into,
Missouri.
the Ozarks and some really kind of some cool carved out areas, but that extra green and nature really does give you a twist that you're not going to see in Oklahoma, you're not going to see in Arizona, you probably maybe see it in some areas of California, but not some, not when you're going through Death Valley or wherever,
Yeah,
that San Bernardino Victorville area. That's not
yeah.
green. So Missouri, that's pretty interesting. Um,
Yeah, yeah. And
Go
that's
ahead.
what's that again, that's what's really neat about the route is that there are so many different. I was in just a couple weeks ago, I was in Rolla, Missouri, and they're working on a new mural, which should be done by now, out in front of a steakhouse, but it's right along the road. It's actually just up from where the old totem pole trading post used to sit. And so I was going to visit what's left of it now, and so I happened to notice them making this mural. Well, each state has its own little postcard on this mural. And so when I stopped there, one of the people that were painting it, she came over and she's like, "Can I get your opinion? What do you think?" And I'm like, "I absolutely love it." She's like, "Well, can you tell it's different artists that are doing them?" I said, "They're clearly different, which is great because it's just like each of the states along the route. It's so different that if you had the same artist paint the whole thing, it would kind of blend in together, right? And the route doesn't do that because each state, like you were mentioning there in Illinois, then you get into Missouri, and then you hit, that little bit of Kansas, and then you get into Oklahoma, and then it really takes off different once you start heading west into the Texas Panhandle and then New Mexico, Arizona, California. And so that's what's one of the greatest things to me is how different, and not only the landscape, but the people along the way are just, that's what makes Route 66 to me is the different people you meet, not only those that live in the areas or those that work at places. Like I mentioned, the Totem Pole Trading Post. When I was there 3 years ago, I met Tim, the owner. Man, just sitting there and listening to him talk about the history of the place when his parents owned it, when he worked there as a high schooler, and then owning it. And then I found out he retired. And when I came through last September, I went to show it to a friend of mine, and the building's gone. I mean, when he retired, I don't know the whole story, but yeah, now the building's gone. What was once
Hmm.
the longest running business along Route 66 in the state of Missouri, the building is now just gone. Absolutely
Wow, I
gone. The
wonder
only
why
thing
that
that's
is. You think that the historical society or something would step in on that, but who knows? I
I'm
mean,
hoping at least to keep the sign out front, because the trading post sign is still there. So I'm
Albuquerque
hoping
just
they at
had
least do
that
that.
happen too. There was a building collapse in Albuquerque, some diner that was around for a long time, and the social media comments, of course, right away is how is there not historical money for this and yada yada
Yeah.
type thing. And it's yeah, I get it. I mean, they have invested a lot of money in different areas of this highway, and so when anything does happen, it does make you wonder why why that happened, and um, but it is what it is, and so uh,
And there's a lot of new coming along too
yeah,
that I always joke to friends. I say, like through Tulsa, they have so many new, well, a few years old now, like Mary Beth Babcock, she's got Buck Adams, and of course she brought all the giants there, right? Speaking of giants. And so
yeah.
that whole Meadow Gold area is new, but don't blink because before long it's going to be considered classic, and so it's one of those things that's great. Or like Aaron at Gearhead Curios in Galena, Kansas. That place is one of those that it's a must stop now. And it's not been there that long. I think he said 2017 maybe is when he opened. So it's these places are also replacing some of the older ones that keep the spirit of the road alive. And that's fantastic.
Well, and one of the things that I've really enjoyed about this project so far is that it it was primarily the artists who came out of the woodwork first. It was the authors, the murals, the photographers, people with an artistic spirit were the ones who really gravitated to this project right away. And that really makes sense to me because when I looked at, the Route 66, and when I looked at the history of it, how, hotels changed because of Route 66. And when you understand that they had to do engineering and architecture completely different for hotels that they actually call them motels, and that was because of Route 66. And gas stations are because of Route 66. People used to go to their hardware store to buy kerosene. And yes, there were some gas stations out in Pennsylvania, but not mainstream. It wasn't until
Hmm.
they were shown in the real time practice that it took off. And so artists would travel Route 66. There's a whole music scene because of Route 66, because it was a way for musicians to travel and have a gig, because the bar and hotel owners needed entertainment for these families, or for these traveling salesmen and these business people that were not on holiday. Because before motels, you went on holiday, you went on a 2 week
Oh,
vacation with your family. You
yeah.
didn't have a road, you just a motel, you drove right up to the door. You know what I mean? None of that stuff
Yeah,
happened.
yeah, yeah.
So when I really looked into this road, it was remarkable how much of our current culture is because of this road. And it's just
Yeah, it's
remarkable. And for every bit of passion I have for it, you've got your passion, the next guy's got his passion, and it's all just as equally as awesome. It's just, I mean, I go ahead. Yeah. Sorry, I get
and
excited.
it could be so, and yes, you're exactly right. And the thing about that is it could be so different that it could be the things that you're into or I'm into that are all Route 66 may not overlap, what people like. It's just the same with traveling it. In one of my recent vlogs, I was talking about how it was raining one morning. I was leaving Cuba. I'd been staying at Cuba, Missouri. I'd stayed at the Wagon Wheel. And I'm like, I had to get to St. Louis that day, so I wanted to spend as much time as I could on the road. But with it raining, I'm like, I'm not going to drive it because it's really going to slow me down. And I knew a couple days later I'd be coming through there anyways. And so I jumped the interstate, and that brought up a talking point for me on one of my videos was, there are people who traveling Route 66, they love to go the interstate and jump off to each one of these cities. I couldn't imagine doing that. Well, now that I've done that, I'm like, okay, I get that. Now that makes sense. I
Mm-hmm.
understand why people do it that way, you know? So they like the quicker run. For me, I prefer the longer time. I mean, if I could get out, that 10-day trip is going to feel like it's going to be rushed, just rushed. And so I would love to be able to do it in a month. I've met so many people from different countries too. We were walking the Chain of Rocks Bridge last September, met a couple from New Zealand that were over doing it for a month. We were in Galena, met a couple that were coming over, that came over on their honeymoon from Italy and were doing a month on the route. And so,
I can tell you
yeah,
that I'm looking at doing 75 days, and I've already conceded that I will not be able to take in as much as I want. Seriously.
see,
Like, I'm going to
yeah,
spend one day in each county. And if you think about it, like if you just go to a museum, well, that's 2 to 3 hours right there. So
yes,
what's next? Okay, well, you probably want to go eat somewhere that's iconic. Are you going to go hit all five restaurants, or are you just going to hit the
right,
one?
yeah,
So
yeah,
that as soon as I realized that, I'm like, oh well, this could be for somebody, every year, every 5 years. I like how people are doing them in spurts. You know what I mean? You go fly into Oklahoma City and drive to Albuquerque and, call that leg one, whatever, flying to Albuquerque, go all the way to Santa Monica. That's leg two. That people are doing that too. And I think that's fantastic. The other part of Route 66 that I think is really exciting um, are the murals. And
yeah,
here's why is that I'm a huge fan of art, and but I'm horrible at it. I just I just enjoy artists because it's showcasing a skill that I do not have. And so it's like a magician. Oh, it's art to me. Okay, wow,
right, right, yeah, yeah, yeah.
But murals, when I was a kid, billboards were hand painted, and
Mm,
so a billboard would take a month for someone to do, but then it would be up for a year or 2 years or 5 years. And that's what these murals remind me of. It's an opportunity for an artist to have a job in the today's economy, because we did have a time when the Renaissance art was what dictated the economy. That's not the case anymore. Art is so small in the grand scheme of things that whenever I see, a water tower painted, or I see one of these electrical boxes now, not
yeah,
green,
yeah, yeah,
but painted, yeah, I think, hey, at least an artist is getting a check finally. At least they're figuring
yeah.
out a way to make a living, because it's really hard for an artist to make a living in today's STEM world, if you will. STEM used to be called STEAM, science, technology, engineering, art, and math, and they took out the art.
Huh.
So now it's just STEM. Yeah, it used to be called
I
STEAM,
didn't
but
know that. Yeah.
art. The artists were so high they didn't show up to the meeting and they got left out. No, I'm just kidding. I just giving artists a hard time with the hippies and all that stuff. So, but at any rate, well, that's cool, man. Are you doing this with sponsors? Do you fund this
No,
yourself? Do you have
ju-
anybody
just
you
me.
you know you want to mention or?
No, just me. Yeah, I don't, no sponsorship, no nothing. It's just taking my vacation time from work. And of course, living right along the route, it allows me to go like here in 2 weeks. I'm going to head west. So I'll take one extra day off work plus my 2 days off, and I'll jump the interstate on that one, drive to Tucumcari, stay the night there, and then make my way back along the route. So can do stuff
Tucumcari.
like that. Yeah, New Mexico.
Yeah, I've only driven through there briefly. And have you been to Glen Rio?
Yes, I it's one of my stops again. I was there just a couple weeks ago quickly because there is a segment if you're headed west as you go through Glen Rio, Texas and just cross the border, most people turn around there, come back, get on the interstate and head into New Mexico. Whereas you can continue to keep going and it's a dirt road, but it is original 1926 to 52 maybe. I can't remember off the top of my head alignment that you can still drive. And I did it just a few weeks ago, and that was absolutely fantastic. But it reminded me when I went through Glen Rio, I need to come back and spend time walking around the buildings, looking at it a little bit
These are the
more. So
abandoned buildings, right?
yes,
Yeah,
correct. Yeah, because there's
because
only
it's
one business there, the smoke shop that's
yeah, I was gonna say
reopened. Yeah,
this is
yeah.
it was one of the more interesting towns along the route originally because it was in the historical towns of America. So technically, it's a ghost town on record. Okay,
Oh
because
wow.
it's in the historical society for a town, but it's really a ghost town because it's all abandoned buildings except for one, which is the dispensary, the smoke shop,
Right. Yeah.
and but it's even more funny because it's on the New Mexico side.
The Mexico side.
Okay,
Yeah.
and when you look at the history of Glen Rio, there was the same thing with alcohol and gas. So the New Mexico side of Glen Rio was bars, and on the Texas side was all oil companies and oil and gas.
Makes
so
sense.
so everybody would gas up in Texas and go buy their booze in New Mexico because Texas had prohibition and New
Oh wow.
Mexico didn't. Yeah, and now it's kind of the opposite where
The
the one
opposite. Yeah.
business is a pot shop or a head shop or a dispensary,
Yeah.
and 5 feet across or whatever it is, 50 yards over across the border, it's illegal. But dang it, if all those people aren't driving over there, I mean, come on,
Driving
a
over.
dispensary in a ghost town and it's doing just fine. We're actually going to be
Yes.
stopping there and talking with the owners, and
Oh, nice.
yeah, we're gonna interview some people on there. Oh, this is so funny to me. When I was looking up their business, because they're the only business in town. There is a visitor center though, right as soon as you cross into New Mexico, in Glen Rio. Right, there's a Route 66 visitor center or a New Mexico
Okay.
visitor center or something on the Google map. There is anyway, so it could be a sign for all I know, but this pot shop or I'm sorry dispensary they don't like those terms anymore.
Okay.
The dispensary has a giant patio connected to it, and
Oh,
they
wow.
went and they brag on their website that they went through the right loopholes, so now you can smoke on their consumption patio.
Oh, wow. I've never heard of that.
I
That is
said I
fantastic.
want to interview the owner just on the loopholes. Don't care about anything
Yeah.
else, man.
Yeah.
Everybody likes loopholes, so
Yeah. That is great.
yeah. But Tucumcari is going to be another one of our stops, and really looking forward to that because there's so much original Route 66 businesses that are still thriving or not thriving, but at least open. I don't know if
Yeah.
thriving is the right word, but hopefully with the 100 year, is the route busy that you've noticed?
I've that's pretty much my question that I ask when I talk to people. I was talking with George up at Gay Parita, there at Sinclair Station, and I asked him, and he said, I think we've noticed an increase for sure. I Out in Eric, Oklahoma, I got to sit down with just Harley Russell and and so I asked him, and he's like, I'm always busy. I haven't seen anything. But then he grabbed his phone and he's like, look at my schedule for coming up later this year. And I mean, every week he's got several different tour groups coming through. So he's gonna be probably busier than
Oh, that's
he's
fantastic.
used to being. Yeah. And so
I talked
um
to the guy in Seligman today from the Roadside Relics,
yeah.
and Mike, I believe is his name. Yeah, in fact, I talked to him for about 5 minutes, and he had, I think, three customers that I had to sit and listen to him wait on. And he's got an original Route 66 sign that people take social media pictures with, and
I've
he's
seen it,
got it
yeah.
figured out, man. He's got like 400,000 followers on Facebook, and he's anybody that goes in his story basically puts him on Facebook, and they follow him.
Yeah.
So I told him, I said, when I was looking around at all the different groups, I said, boy, did you stand out to me because you had it figured out. You were producing regular content with a variety of people in your lane, and you weren't going outside of it. You weren't trying to be
Yeah.
Joe Rogan. You weren't trying to be anybody. You know what I mean? You were just, hey, I'm the guy with the antiques from Route 66. Come see me. And they do. They
And I
do.
will be. Yeah.
He's
Once
right
we get
next
there for
to
sure.
the drive-in, Angels Drive-In.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
the snow cap there, yeah, right
Yeah, the
across the
snow
street
cap.
from it. Yeah, or
Have you
yeah,
been
yeah.
there? Have you been to the snow cap?
I've walked by it, but the only time I've been into town, they ended up having we had a pretty good wicked storm that came through, and it pretty much shut down every business early that day.
Okay.
And so,
Well,
so
now
I'm
when you
looking
say
forward
storm,
to
what is that, a windstorm, a rainstorm?
thunder and lightning. Yeah, storms seem to follow me, so maybe you don't want to wait in Santa Monica for me because
Ah,
they uh, they seem to follow me. I was in Carthage just the other day,
Carthage,
and
Missouri.
yeah,
Yeah.
and we I was at the 66 drive-in watching a movie and paying attention to the radar, kind of half joking, dog, um, kind of half joking that I've seen the movie Twister enough to realize if you're at a drive-in, you pay attention to the weather. And
Yeah.
wasn't too long after that, the phone went off with a tornado warning. And so it said to seek shelter immediately. So I rushed back to Boots Court where I was staying, and they were getting everybody underground at that point. And
Oh, no
so,
kidding.
yeah, so that was a heck of an experience. But yeah, storms seemed to follow me. That was the worst one of them all. But when I was in Seligman, it was probably about a good hour long storm, knocked out the power, and so most places just closed up. So I can't wait to get back there in early August to be able to hopefully really experience it the right way this time.
Yeah, the 120-degree heat. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
That'll be a whole different ball game there. But
yeah.
do you have a favorite place that you've eaten at that, or a couple that stand out? Favorites hard to. It's hard to obviously have a favorite sometimes, but are there any that stand out? Any meals or places?
Well, I mean, it really depends upon what you're looking at. So, like, the Mother Road Market in Tulsa is fantastic because no matter who you're with, there's something for everybody there, right? So, and they've got so many. It's a good food hall. It's
Now,
got a
what's the
lot of
Mother Road
options.
Market? Is that like a Trader Joe's or something like that, or is that
No,
like a
it's
deli
it's
or?
it's a big food hall. Yeah, right there, just right off of a stone's throw off of Route
Can
66.
I
And
get
so
like a meatloaf sandwich?
that I don't know, but I know they've
Okay.
got like a cheesesteak place. I like going there.
Okay.
They've got some like hot chicken sandwich place that I like. I was just walking around it a couple weeks ago. They got a Thai place, a Mexican place,
Oh, I
and they
see. So
have,
these are different businesses inside the Mother Road Market.
yeah,
Oh, so it's like a
yes,
food
exactly
court.
right.
Okay.
It's a
Okay.
food hall, big food hall.
Okay.
Yeah, and so
I
that's
thought
a
maybe it
great
was
place to
like
go.
just a big place that serves you everything type of a thing. Like just
No,
a
no, yeah, different
okay.
businesses. So
Okay.
so that's great. I don't know. I this is going to sound funny, but 3 years ago when I was through Adrian, Texas, I went to the Midpoint Cafe and I had
Hmm.
lunch there, had a piece of their pie, and I kept dreaming about it for 3 years because it was so good. That's a couple weeks ago when I went back. I did the same thing, had a burger and then got a piece of the pie. And I mean, man, that is a must stop in my opinion at the Midpoint Cafe, if for
The
nothing else, a
midpoint.
piece of their pie.
I'm going to be
Yeah.
stopping in Adrian. I just interviewed a gentleman this morning from upstate New York, and he's going to be driving Route 66 starting July 4th and 5th. Um, and he's got a 7 foot tall ribbon made out of rebar that they just installed a couple months ago in Adrian, Texas,
Oh.
across the street. I don't know if you saw it or not, but they're putting locks on them, like padlocks, and it's
Hmm.
for cancer, for people that have
Oh,
their
wow.
life impacted by cancer. That's what the big giant ribbon is for. And so they're driving there, and he's going to be doing a dedication ceremony um, July 12th, July 11th, right around that time. So if you're in the neck of the nape there, because you'll be close to, I think, the same timeline as them as well. But anyway, it's gonna be crazy, man. Because I really think this is the year, because of social media, strangers are going to be running into each other on Route 66. I really believe that. Be like, I've seen you do this, and I've seen you do this, and hey, look at that. And I think this is the year for a lot of that Route 66. I really do, because people are interested, and they're having fun, and it's getting people out, and boy, you seem like it. I mean, you started a whole brand, Route Ken's
Yeah.
Ken's Route 66 Adventures, and it's
Yeah.
plural, right?
Yeah.
So you're doing more than one. So you
More than one. Yeah. Going out
yeah.
as much as I can. Yeah. This
Now,
year I've
is
got to
is
have.
the end goal like? Do you want to be a tour guide one day?
That would be great. I mean, I've actually had people ask me that question. Is this for your tour company? I'm like, not quite yet,
Well,
but
you have
I
the
think it would be
passion for
fun.
it. Yeah, you have the
Yeah. I think,
passion for it, and honestly, to be a tour guide, you have to have the passion, because if somebody's going to phone it in, just go get a different job.
right.
A
Yeah.
tour guide should really enjoy it. And boy, in today's day and age with the EVs and everything, we're real close to these autonomous cars just driving us from. I think you'll be able to drive an autonomous in my lifetime, probably in the next 10 years. You'll be able to do the Mother Road autonomous from Chicago to
Wouldn't
um,
that be weird? Yeah.
weird is the right word, because
Yeah.
I'm not too sure I want to get in one of these driverless cars yet. I'll be probably the second or third tier of people. I'm not. It's like
Yeah.
the first people that got in the planes. Yeah, we'll let them go ahead and fly first.
Yeah.
I'll,
Right.
I'll
Yeah.
be yeah, I'll be like the third or fourth wave. Good.
Yeah.
Let's see if these planes crash first and what the deal is and that sort of thing. And but I do see where some of these road trips are definitely going to be more common as we go into the future, because we're going more into an experiential economy, especially with a lot of the younger folks, where they want these kind of Ken's Adventures and these tour groups that are coming in, and all these different things, because it's easy for them, and it's a shared experience more than
Yeah.
anything. And that's the one thing that Route 66 has brought this year and other years too, is it does have a shared experience feel to it, like a football game or like something like that. But anyway, I get chatty on this, and sometimes I don't even have a question. So uh, just kind of your comments on what is your big attraction to to the Route 6? Have you been able to put a finger on it at all? Like what your attraction is?
You know, I think I don't know. It's fun to see the historic places and stuff like that, but it's the people, it's meeting people, getting, again, I mentioned it earlier, whether it's the people that live or work in these areas, or if it's people traveling the route, just like myself, getting to meet them. I was standing on the Chain of Rocks Bridge a couple weeks ago, and a big group come in. They're they come walking back from having crossed the bridge, and they were from South Bend, Indiana, and we got to talking about the route and everything. Just it's one of those things. I don't know, maybe it sounds corny, but every time I meet somebody, a little bit of them kind of comes with me because I feel their excitement about the road. And that's a shared experience, right? So, there was a couple that I met at the Wagon Wheel Hotel. Their fire alarms kept going off one night on us when the night we were there. And the couple in the room next to me, David and Sue, are from England, and we actually had to stand outside for about an hour, and we were talking about the route, and they were telling me all about the different stops they made, and then where they were going from there to complete it, and we're Facebook friends now, and we talk all the time about stuff, and it's just I don't know. I love to hear people's experiences. Experiencing life. It's one of those things. It's so easy to get in a virtual reality world, it's so easy to just sit in front of a phone or in front of your computer and not get out and experience things. Well, being out on the road, you get to experience so much more and meet so many people that I think that's the biggest pull for me is meeting all the different people along the road because it's fantastic to
You,
get
you
to get
seem
to
like
know
you would
people.
you seem like you would enjoy that as well. And one of the reasons why I asked you that too is was I kind of thought that would be your answer. Sorry, I'm looking for my plug-in here. Um, I thought that would be your answer because I was going to tell you the joke I was talking to another interviewer with was that one of my big plans or I guess desires or I don't even know what I call it, but I'm going to be doing some mental health stuff along the road, working on my mental health and part of that is talking with strangers and
Yeah.
engaging with people again and finding out that people aren't as triggered as people are and I was joking with this girl, this woman I guess would be the proper word, that I might even just start a different brand for the podcast and call it I talk to strangers instead of don't talk to strangers.
Don't
I
understand.
talk to strangers because everybody I meet along the route is going to be a stranger.
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah.
going to be wonderful conversations. I already know that because if you've got a shared experience, most times you're going to have a decent conversation. And
Yeah.
one of the reasons why sports works, you can
That's
you can
exactly right.
fit 80,000 people into an arena together and they don't fight unless they're in England playing soccer, right? And so
Yeah.
but well that's fantastic that getting out there to really get in touch with the human spirit along, Route 66 because quite honestly, I think there's so much of that human spirit along there, whether it's in the ghost towns or whether it's in these old businesses, whether it's the pull up your business by the bootstraps because the interstate is coming in. These people have real stories with real context that is very relatable. That's not just some 20 something year old memorizing, a checklist on the internet and going out there and
Exactly.
acting like they've done it before, so
Right.
that's what I'm really looking forward to. And it sounds like you are too. And that's fantastic. How can people contact you? Are you soliciting anything at all? I mean, you're doing this out of pocket, but obviously, if you get enough followers on YouTube, you can monetize that. I don't think you can monetize on Facebook. I've been off Facebook since 2016, and
Oof.
yeah, and I just started a new account about a month ago. It's under a fake name called Content Johnson because I didn't want to use my real name and I wanted to see if I couldn't do something else. But so I'm trying to figure out the Facebook stuff. But YouTube, I know you can monetize. I know that Substack you can monetize. I know Patreon. There's something called Buy Me a Cup of Coffee I've seen on some other. I'm not an
Yeah.
influencer. I'm not. Don't listen to me, folks. I'm not an influencer. So I'm more of a conduit and a connector. So how can people support your cause through any way? And by the way, subscribing to your YouTube page, maybe that's enough support. Maybe that's all you need. I don't know. What's the
Yeah.
way that people can help you?
Right now it's just, yeah, subscribing, watching the videos. help me get to that monetization level, and that's a good thing.
Is
We're
is that a
growing,
goal, or
growing
is
pretty
that a
good.
goal, or is
Oh
that
yeah.
just kind of that'd be nice?
Oh yeah. I mean, of course, I think it would be absolutely amazing to be able to hit that and to start making enough where then it could fund even a trip a year kind of thing, right? Something. And so I love doing this. I love being out there. I've got so much content. One of the things that I'm working on right now is I want to by the time I get to Santa Monica, I'll have it completed. I'll have my 360 camera up on the hood of the car, and I'm recording every mile of Route 66, not every alignment, but every mile during down the road. And so I currently have to put up as an archive, right, on the YouTube channel. So today I was editing videos from here in Oklahoma. So I have recorded already the entire state of Missouri, Oklahoma, Kansas, and Texas. And it's just a matter of getting it edited, and then come by the time we make it to Santa Monica, I'll have it all to where then it can kind of be, with the channel there is not only my adventures going out and having fun, meeting people and doing stuff like this past video that just went up yesterday has got a little bit of that interview with Harley Russell from Sandhill Curiosity Shop there in Eric. It's got a little clip of it in there, but I'll have a full video coming out in a couple weeks. That's going to be probably, I don't know, 20 minutes or so of just him and I talking.
And just
And
to give
so
people an idea of what's going on out there with Route 66, I just checked last night. I actually have more subscribers now from Australia and Europe than I do America. Like that's
yes,
how big globally this Route 66 thing has gotten, to the tune to where people in Australia and Europe are not only coming over here to drive it, but they're really paying attention to it, because it's of interest to them. I mean, it's Americana, man. I mean, it's
oh yeah,
McDonald's and giant statues. I mean, it's just fantastic.
it's one of those things when you do meet people from other countries to hear, like I mentioned, the couple that came over to do their honeymoon on the route, from Italy. I remember asking them, I got it on video, so I just love that I have it on video. But I said, let me get this right. You're sitting in Italy about to get married, and you're thinking, where can we go for our honeymoon? And you thought, let's go do Route 66. And in almost unison, they both said, absolutely. And it's because that is such a big thing for people from other countries. Only 54% of my viewership on my channel is from the United States.
So
The
you
rest
got
of
the
it's
same
from
thing I
from other
got,
countries.
man.
Yeah, yeah.
you
And so
you
I get
bet check
comments a
it
lot
might
from
it
people.
might have switched
Yeah,
in the last 24 hours, because like I
yeah.
was telling you, when I went and looked last night, I went, well, okay, this is a trend here. Okay, what can I sell to Australia? Boomerangs. The Route
Yeah.
66
Six
boomerangs. Okay,
boomerangs.
let's get
Yeah.
those out and running here. But yeah, I'm very excited for it. And the one thing that I'm personally excited for is, yeah, I'm doing the trip, and that's fine, and that's a nice bucket list thing to have. But the Route 66 birthday isn't actually until November 11th.
Yep.
And so it doesn't actually turn 100 until November. And
Right.
when November rolls around, number one, it'll be winter. Number two, it's Veterans Day. Number three, you're leading into the Christmas season. Number four, everybody that is part of Route 66 planning things are going to be out of money. They're going to blow it all this summer. So people like you and people like me that are collecting all this content, we can start rolling it out as new content. And that is my strategy for phase four. Phase one, prep. Phase two, the trip. Phase three, the production. Phase four is the rollout, which is, if there's 55 counties, call it 56 counties, that literally is 1 year worth of weekly podcast drops that I will be able to celebrate Route 66 for a full year, when
Yeah.
everybody else will be out of their resources or out of idea, whatever the case is. And so I think you're in the same boat, that because of the content and the work that you're putting in, you can even repurpose it and, do a hey, this one's all diners. This one's all
Yes.
this one's all giant statues, man. Just
Yeah,
whatever
and
works.
that's kind of my plan. Is it's so weird because I've never really thought about planning like that. Whenever I've done vlogging and stuff just for my personal YouTube channel, it's always been, hey, this is what I'm doing, that kind of thing. Well,
Yeah.
now kind of looking at things a little bit different. And so so like I'll still have like my what I call my daily vlogs, right? So this is what I did in a day along the route. But there are several stops along the way, and each one of those, well, then most of those can become its own standalone. And then you could turn those into
Hmm.
to other, montage videos, basically, like you just mentioned,
I do it in the energy thing where I've got my kind of my newsy and current stuff, but I'm always repurposing things. Like I will do like, okay, here's three natural gas CEOs, so I'll grab three of them, that sort of thing. Just whatever the case is. And with Route 66, boy, world's your oyster. Like I just say, look at diners, drive-ins, and dives. I mean, they'll take the same interview and put it in 15 different programs. This is the
yes,
Italian one. This is the South Bronx one. They'll go by
yeah,
course, by here's one just of this kind of pasta, and they'll throw it in there. And
right,
so it's
yeah,
it's the
yeah,
same way. It's in the media. We used to say that you have a rag that's just full of content. If you can squeeze as many drops out of that as you possibly can, man, that you do it because there's an audience out there. There's an audience out there, and so just because it's a repeat to you doesn't mean it's a
does it
repeat to someone else. Yeah.
exactly, especially when it comes to content like my channel, Ken's Route 66 Adventures. It's people, your base audience will watch like your dailies, and then your other videos. So like I do 3 videos a week. So Mondays is my daily, my trip, stuff. And then Thursdays is a standalone. And so then it'll be just someplace like this week is it's like a 5-minute video on the Devil's Elbow Bridge and Hooker's Cut up in Missouri, right? Something quick. And then Saturdays is a driving video. So just the natural sound of the road, no talking over it other than the promos, the intro and outro kind of thing. And hey, subscribe. And so every Saturday there'll be a new segment that's anywhere from 35 minutes to an hour of just
And
the
how long have
road.
you been doing this?
So I have content from that was from my personal channel, and then when I did that trip in September with a friend, that I have been repackaging and putting back
But
up.
but I mean, have you
And
been
so,
doing 3 times a week since January?
oh, um, pretty probably February, mid-February. Maybe, I don't know.
More
I'm
than
at like
3 months.
100. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so
I'm at
that
125 videos, I think it said on my
okay.
channel right now.
Well, you
Yeah.
hear
And
that?
so,
Any marketing directors out there? There you go. You've got somebody that's got a proven product for 3 months with appointment viewing. I mean, what you're talking about is 3 times a week, man. That's in the media business. We call that appointment viewing. You got to actually be, have your ducks in a row. You got
I'm
to.
already, I'm scheduled out right now. I've already got them uploaded and scheduled through the end of June.
Yeah,
And
you're like
so
me.
I'm,
You're
I'm
working
ahead.
ahead, so you're running a
Yeah.
business. Yeah, you're running a
Yeah.
business, man. But you're doing it out of, it's right now. I guess it's a hobby, but
It's technically, yeah.
yeah. Well, it is because you're not making money.
Yeah. Not making
but
anything. Yeah.
but that's okay because you're running your hobby like a business, and you're just doing
Yeah.
it out of instinct. And so, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised by next year or by the end of the summer. You could have a sponsor or two that at least helps. Like I've got a couple sponsors that at least help me with some gas money
Yeah.
because it's gas prices have gotten so much, and
Yeah.
and that sort of thing. But um, like I know for me, I'm actually hoping that after I do the trip, I'll have so much new and relevant content that during that phase 4 it could pick up a sponsor to do some of the produced content. And I think you could almost do that same thing. And you're right out of if you're in Edmond, you're in the heart of Oklahoma, Route 66 there.
Yeah.
You're right down the
And
street from the
that's,
capital.
yes. And that's what's amazing here is that for doing trips, and you kind of mentioned like with tours, if I could ever get into that, if people, especially in this local area, if wanted to do something, we could literally like I'll do here in a couple of weeks, jump interstate, drive to Tucumcari, and then bring the route back, a couple nights along the way and doing stuff. Well, I can do that so often. And that's one thing that is also amazing about Route 66 is it's never the same twice. I mean, it really isn't because you don't have to hit the exact same stops. And even if you do, something's going to be different, I mean, just always will. Whether it's like going to Midpoint Cafe, you're darn right I'm stopping for lunch. I'm going to get me a piece of that pie again. But it's not going to really be the same because there's going to be different people there. You're going to meet different people. It's going to feel different. So no matter how many times you do it, it's different. And so it's
Not to
that's really
mention when a pie is made from scratch versus, made from
yes.
a machine, it tastes better each time. It just does,
Yeah.
I mean, it tastes just as good, and because it's homemade and fresh and from scratch, and it doesn't have that preservative aftertaste that a lot of the store bought stuff has, it's a whole different experience. Yeah, it's just fantastic. So,
Yeah.
looking at the clock here, and I'm wrapping up. What do you want people to walk away from the interview as far as how can they help you? Do you just want them to subscribe for now and just follow along, or what do you
Well,
think?
yeah, that would be amazing. Anybody that hears this, that would come out to Ken's Route 66 Adventures, or just Ken's Route 66, can find it that way on YouTube, on Instagram, everywhere, especially on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button if you're wanting to donate something. My mama didn't raise no fool. I'll be more than happy to say thank you.
Do you do
There
you
is a
have a
link to,
do you have any
there's a
buttons
link
that
to
people donate, or do they got to send a check in the mail?
Not quite yet, but there is a
So
link to email me, and if somebody wants to, I can get
that's
them
check in the
something where they
mail. Yeah,
can.
that's
Well, or Venmo,
yeah. But
PayPal, whatever.
you don't have your Venmo public.
It's not public. Maybe I
Yeah.
could start putting it in the description of videos,
I'm with
that
you.
kind of
I have
thing.
a hard time with that. I see a lot of the influencers do it, and I mean, I lost track of how many different ways you can donate to this girl that lives in a van. I mean, I honestly, I think I counted 40 different ways
Oh wow,
that,
yeah,
yeah, something called Buy Me a Coffee and all these things
that
I've
one's
never
pretty
heard of
popular. Yeah,
before.
Patreon and yeah,
Yeah, and I've heard of a lot of them, but yeah, and Joe was like, "Oh, she even has her Venmo on there and her Cash App and PayPal." And I didn't even know. Wow, okay. So I thought, why not? Why not? And so, anyway, well, if you want to send me the any of the links you have to your stuff, whether it be Instagram or Venmo or YouTube, I've got some.
okay,
Just make sure I have them. I'll put the links on the show page
okay,
when this airs here over the next day or two. But I appreciate the time, and we'll definitely hook up
yeah.
on the road. And
Yeah, I look forward to, like I said, I'll be up in Tulsa for the which I saw you on the list for the present, the stage there, the
oh,
presentation
that's right,
stage
Route
for
66
Road
Road
Fest.
Fest. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, looking forward to that. So I'll be up for it. And then I did it last year. That was so much fun. So I'm going back, of course, Centennial. Got to do it. And so and then you'll come through here. I'll at least be at the see you when you're in here for in Oklahoma City.
Oh, you
I'll
won't
take a
be
day
gone at
off.
that point. You'll still be around.
No,
Okay.
no, that's early July. Yeah. So I'll
Yeah,
be
we'll have to
still be
have you on. Let's see, because
still be working.
what county is Edmond in?
Oklahoma County. So it's the one
Okay, so
at
we'll be
capital,
doing
I
it.
think you said.
Well, now we might be doing it just right down the street. It might be at a private business, and then the state capitol people would come to the private business because
Gotcha.
they've got a big bar that it's like well, it's like a event center that has a
Mhm.
bar, and it's they're a supply chain with the oil and gas um industry, and so I think they want to use it. That, you
Well,
know what I mean? Like
yeah, let me know where it's at, and I'll
it's
meet
like,
you
hey,
there.
we have it. Let's use it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
that type of thing. And so we might be doing it from there or the state capitol. But either way, you're more than welcome to come by. I told any of the private businesses that we're doing the recording from, I tell them, if you can turn it into a quasi little social marketing network thing, let's do it. Why not?
Yeah, yeah.
Invite people to come by, tell their stories. If we, I mean, your mindset is the right mindset for Route 66. Is that strangers are going to be meeting. you're going to be having a shared experience, and you're more than likely probably going to stay in touch after the meeting. And that's rare. I mean, you don't even have that in your own community anymore. And so to know
No,
that perfect strangers are going to do this all the way along this 2,400-mile road is just fantastic. And so
let me, I know we're rushing time here. Let me tell you one. My first night in Tucumcari back in 2023, I was staying at the Blue Swallow. And so I brought my camp chair with me. I was just sitting outside the room because I was told these are the things you do, which seemed weird to me because like the night before I was in Amarillo staying at a Fairfield. And so you don't look at anybody while you're walking down the hall, let alone talk to them, right? And so here I am sitting outside my room waiting for the neon to come on, right? And people are just walking up and just talking like we were neighbors or something. And I guess for a night we actually kind of were, it was such a strange feeling, but it was fantastic because it was quintessential Route 66, getting out and meeting other people and getting to know. And again, we've said it so many times, that shared experience. Well, about a month later, I had posted some photos in a Facebook group from the route, and I got a message from somebody that said, "Hey, you were there that night. We were the ones that were in this room. We had the white van." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, yeah, we've been in touch ever since." And so, yeah, I mean, it's again, and then of course Dave and Sue just up at the wagon wheel, getting to meet them. A strange experience with the fire alarms going off. Otherwise, we probably would never have met potentially. And here we are, good friends. And I've met so many people along the route that looking forward to seeing when I'm back out on the road there again too.
I'm going to go to GoDaddy right now and buy I'm talking to strangers or something like that, because I'm telling you, I think that would be a popular podcast where just, hey, I talk to strangers, and people would be like, yeah, okay, let's take a listen there. Anyway, well, I appreciate the time, Ken, and we'll have you on again. Let's definitely hook up in Tulsa and get a update on the trip and what you've been doing. And I appreciate the time today, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it.